from Canada. He's from Canada, and they'll be there this year again.
Yeah, he's a cool dude. All right, everybody. Welcome to Let's Go Pulling on a Monday night. It's all about it's all about garden tractors night, mini rods. We're gonna start off with Matt Larson, promoter of New Richmond, Wisconsin, Midwest Super Pull this coming Friday and Saturday, and then we're gonna have on our distinguished panel. We got Bob Kauffman. Bob, are you on here? Bob's been jumping on and off.
Bob, I think Bob's got a bad signal. I'm texting him back and forth right now.
Brandon Perry from Monroeville, Ohio. Steve Hovind from Princeton, Texas. If you remember, a couple years ago, I did a live from Steve's. Marty Abfall from Columbus, Indiana. And, of course, the great Kevin Moore, our own little red hooker. But right now, and, of course, Ryan and Charles and Cody as well. I mean, our distinguished panel of guests. But I want to bring Matt. Matt, I'm going to give you center stage here. Let me learn how to do this. So let's talk about New Richmond, Wisconsin this coming weekend, Matt.
Yep. So we're pulling inside the Cedar Lake Arena at the Cedar Lake Speedway. And it's a beautiful building for inside tractor pull. We've got a huge pits, 2 tracks. Track 1 will be about 260 feet. Track 2 is about 230 feet. Track 2 is our Wisconsin sled, which is what all the super mods and garden tractors, everybody loves to pull on that sled. It lets you get up and run. And track 1 will be the dirt flinger sled. Pull all the mini rods and the mini trucks and a few of the stock classes on there.
So you'll have them. Do you have those mini 2-wheel drive trucks like Josh Balk and them?
We added that class late. Last year we only had 1 entry, and I got a call from a few guys that said they wanted to come, and so we told them if they got 3 of them, we'd add them. Right now we only have 1 pre-registered, but I think there's a few more coming. So
okay, cool. That's a neat class.
Yep.
That's a neat class. Matt, how long has this event been going on?
So this will be our 3rd year. We started in 2019, and then we had to take a couple years off in 2020 and 2021, and then last year was the first year that I took it over, and now we're back this year, and things look really good. We've got over 280 hooks pre-registered, and I've been my phone's been blowing up the last couple of days of guys that are coming yet. So last year we did over 400 hooks in 2 days, and I think we're going to surpass that this year.
It's a really neat arena. That's like they do like indoor motocross there, right?
Yep. All winter long they do motocross races, and you can go there and practice, and there's jumps and everything. And the summertime they race go-karts in there. They have an oval track inside of it. And then so when they take the motocross track out, they level the whole place off for us. I think the building is like 300 by 400, and so it makes a great arena for us, and there's plenty of room for pits, and lots of room, and it's a good pulling track. It maybe got a little away from us last year. We've got a plan to keep it nice and tight this year and go after it.
Chuck Hobbs says, "Hey Matt, small tire mafia." So,
Yeah.
Hey, tell us about your tractor a little bit. I'm gonna go try to find a picture of it while we're yakking.
So my main tractor is the Money Pit Mini Rod. It's a 400 cubic inch small block. It's got a gearbox, TRB gearbox, a slipper clutch, 9-inch forward rear end. We run on 34-inch tires, and we've done really well. I've been to Shipshewana, I think all 3 times that they've had it in Shipshewana. The first year we got 3rd place out there. I think we stunned a lot of those mini rod guys. And that's where the small tire mafia comes from. I maybe swung for it a little too hard this year and was geared a little high, but I've got a plan to come back next year and prove that the small tires can play with the big boys.
That's what makes it fun. Yep.
Yep.
I know Charles, you remember announcing the mini rod class, bud?
I sure do. Yeah. Weren't you like a late entry? Came in place of somebody?
Yep. I came in. Greg Nordahl blew his motor up on the dyno, and you guys were doing one of these, and I texted Ryan and said, if you want to fill that spot, I can fill it. If not, no worries. And he said, you can have it. So we pulled her out of the trailer and had about 2 days to get it ready, and we were down there.
So these are these are your tractors, right, Matt?
Yep, the 3 green ones there are mine. The V8 is obviously the Money Pit. And then the Oliver looking one is my dad's. That's a super mod with an 800cc snowmobile engine. And then the John Deere looking one is my original tractor we started with 25 years ago. And that's also got an 800cc snowmobile engine in it.
That's awesome. That's super cool.
So
if anybody has any questions for Matt, If anybody has any questions for Matt about New Richmond, Wisconsin, the Midwest Super Bowl this Friday and Saturday, April 7th through 8th, please type them into the comments. Or if you see this video tomorrow or Wednesday or Thursday and you're wondering about the event, go to MidwestSuperPoll.com or message us on Beer Money Polling Team, and we'll try to get the questions answered the best we can for Matt to help him out there. So sorry about that, Matt. So.
Nope, no problem.
I was planning on being there, Matt, but it ain't working. So
That's one of my favorite pictures right there.
I like it. I know that's clearly on Blacktop. Where's that at, Matt?
So that's at Waseca County Fair in Waseca, Minnesota.
Okay.
And that was when we used to pull. So we started when we were pulling on tar. We would pull with turf tires, and then we would overpower them. So we went to sprint car tires, and now we're pulling with drag racing slicks. They seem to last a little bit longer. The sprint car tires, we got to a point where it was taking 3 sets a year to get through the year. So
now you guys drag racing.
Yeah. We spent probably the first 20 years pulling almost exclusively on tar, and then when COVID hit, they shut Minnesota down, and we had to learn how to pull on dirt, and we've been having so much fun. We've been putting a lot of miles on, run over into Wisconsin, down into Iowa, anywhere we can find a good dirt track.
I'm flipping through your Facebook page, so you're cutting some wood down there. Oh, there they are.
That's my office in the basement.
That looks like Charles's office.
I was just going to ask you how much concrete, asphalt versus dirt do you guys go back and forth on?
We do quite a bit. The clubs that we primarily pull with in Minnesota, I would say they probably pull 90% on asphalt and 10% on dirt. It's we're really close to the Twin Cities metro area, and if you go any closer than my house to there, people just don't understand tractor pulling, and so it's hard to find a good dirt track or people that want to put any effort into building a track. And what I've learned about Wisconsin is you go to any of these little towns and there's a Lions Park with a dirt track there, and they show up at 7 in the morning and start drinking beer and getting that track ready, and it may look like it's not going to be any good at noon, but you get on that track at 7, 8 at night, and you better have your stuff right.
I love this picture. That Hoosier tire, that is so cool.
Yeah. That was what my mini rod looked like when I first got it. We had a power glide transmission in it there.
Does the setup change a bunch between pulling on asphalt versus on dirt for you guys?
Yeah, when we were on the drag racing slicks, you put all the weight you can on the front because it's like the worst or the best hook and track you've ever been on dirt. And a lot of times we'll take quite a bit of weight off on the dirt, because you can read the track and you got to see what it's going to do. On tar, once you get those tires hot, they get sticky, and you need to have the weight on the front to keep it under control. That was my first win at Waterloo, or in Des Moines. I think that was 2014. That was pretty fun. We made the finals at the Prairie Pullers Shootout, and we're the last hook of the class, and took her down and won the class.
You are zooming. I'm going to put the event poster up on the screen. Matt, let's talk through that, and then we'll let you get on with your evening here. Thanks for coming on tonight. We look forward to seeing you this weekend.
Yep. So we're going to have tech will open for tractors that are or anybody that's coming at 3 o'clock on Thursday. We'll have tech from 3 to 7. And then around 7 o'clock, the sleds should be there. And we'll, as soon as the sleds are set up, we'll do some test hooks. And you could do a test hook for $30 a hook. And then on Friday, tech will open at 7 a.m. from 7 to 10. And so if you're not already registered, you can register at that time, and then we'll start pulling at 11. And then on Saturday, tech will be open from 7 to 9, and we'll start pulling at 10 a.m. We'll have our drivers' meetings probably 15 minutes before the pull starts, and we'll be ready to go. If you want to come as a spectator, it's $5 a day. If you want a pit pass, it's $15 for the weekend. So it's really a affordable event. We're 50% of all the entry fees go right back to the pullers, and if we have enough tractors there, we can make enough money to pay the bills and do it again next year.
I like it. I like it. So, Matt, if I'm a puller and I'm seeing this for the first time, which would be a shock, but if I was, I can still come and compete at this event this weekend, correct?
You bet. You come and you just show up, and we'll get you signed up and down the track.
Okay. Awesome. So MidwestSuperPole.com, everybody. It's right there. It'll be streaming across the bottom of the screen all night long. Matt, we always want to thank all promoters because we know how hard it is to put on an event, no matter what you have there, and it takes a lot of work and a lot of time. And we thank you very much.
Yep. I just wanted to, since you got the diesel pulling guys on, I just wanted to give a shout out to them and Brian Beckius. I think we have 6 or 7 limited pro stock diesels confirmed, and 3 or 4 maybe on the fence yet. But it's $300 to win each day on top of standard payout. So
Now,
I don't think you guys are all too far away. You can probably cover that in fuel if you come and win. So
yeah. Brandon, what are you doing this weekend?
I'm working. Unfortunately, that's the life of a railroader.
Yeah, no, I understand.
Yeah.
But no,
I'd like to make my way out, but not this time around.
Matt, this has to be one of the biggest, mini rod garden tractor events in the state of Wisconsin, doesn't it?
I believe it is. Yep. I think it's the biggest indoor one in the north anyways. I know we were in Waterloo, Iowa a couple weeks ago, and they do a lot of hooks, but they don't have mini rods. They stop at the 4-cylinder class. So, we have quite a few mini rods, and big tire, small tire. If you've got a mini rod, we'll get you down the track.
Yep. Travis Schaub's bringing 8 tractors. So.
Yep. I think he was the highest hook count so far.
You're gonna have the Travis Schaub class.
Pretty much.
Yep, I like it. Well, Matt, thank you very, very much, bud. We're gonna let you go, and good luck this weekend, okay, buddy?
Thank you.
Well, welcome everybody. We're gonna talk diesel garden tractors now. So I kind of got this idea after Keystone had a lot of views on the videos, and we got excited. I've been friends with Kevin Moore a long time. I think he claims me. Whenever we've done videos with a little red hooker, they've always done really well. Now, Kevin, we call that a compact diesel, right? Is that what we call your class?
Yes.
Because that's why we get a lot of questions on Facebook, and Charles or Ryan or Cody can jump in, but the difference between a limited pro stock diesel, a pro stock diesel, and maybe a compact diesel. Does that seem to be the 3 main classes of the diesel world?
Yeah,
I believe so.
Okay, so who wants to start? Steve, do you have limited pros or do you have pro stocks? I forget.
I just have pro stock.
Okay, so who has limited pros?
I think everybody else.
Everybody.
Yeah, everybody else does.
Marty, do you want to start kind of breaking that class down for us?
Yeah, and the other guys, feel free to jump in. But obviously the limited, we're limited on cubic inch is really the big thing, along with box pump. That's the main limits. Cubic inch is 70 and below, and run on the box pump. Whereas the pro stock, they can run, unlimited on the fuel pump, really. And Steve can talk more about that as we dive into it. But that's been the class that has had stable rules for, I would say, the last 10 years or so. And that's what a lot of
There's the difference right there.
Yeah. And that's one of the big reasons why I built, is because we had a standardized set of rules. I started back in 2015 is when I built my limited pro diesel. Prior to that, in 2013, I just had a stock diesel that wasn't enough horsepower, wasn't going fast enough. And so I jumped up to the limited pro stock diesel. Yeah, that's the tractor right there. That's actually my dad pulling up in Ohio. So it's a lot of fun. Really good horsepower to weight ratio. National rules, so you can go to big indoor pulls, local pulls. There's a lot of rules that you can pull local that could be stock class, you know, and that's really a good way to get started, is if you don't want to build to the national rules. And that's some of the things that the guys were talking about earlier, is that you don't have to spend big bucks to get into this. You know, you can build to your local rules, have a little bit of fun, and do what I did. And I think what Steve did is that we jumped up into the classes, you know, starting out as a stock and then moving into the limited. So I'll open up to the other guys if you guys want to jump in and kind of share your stories a little bit.
I'm going to grab Bob next here. Give me a second.
Yeah.
Marty, I put both your tractors on the screen, the Kubota and the blue and the Ford, right?
The Ford is mine and my dad's. That Kubota is not mine. So I'm actually building a stock Kubota. I didn't send you a picture of that.
Oh, okay. I just saw Kubota in your email, so I put this one up here.
Yeah,
so.
No, that one's pretty sweet. That's out of Maryland. I forget the gentleman. Vincent Sullivan, I think I got that right. No, that one's a pretty strong runner. The one I'm building right now is a stock. I'm just going to pull locally.
Okay.
In the Southern Indiana class and have a little fun with it. But the Ford.
That one's Bob's, right? Or is that one Brandon's?
That's Brandon's.
That's Brandon's. Okay. I'm trying to find a picture. I got to make Bob big on the screen here. Hey, Bob, how are you tonight?
I'm doing fine. How about yourself?
Good. Thanks for coming on. We appreciate you doing this tonight.
Oh, you're welcome.
Do you have any good stories about Steve from Texas at all? You'd like to tell us?
There's so many, but I probably can't do it in public, if you understand what I'm saying.
Oh, yes, you can. Yes, you can, Bob. It's fine.
Do you guys follow Tony Reed, Growing Corn 2020 on TikTok?
I don't.
No.
Well, he has the worst potty mouth in the world, and he's been on our show, so pretty much that's our measuring stick.
I'm trying to think. Even when Steve and I first met was Columbus Pool, and that was the old Columbus Pool in Columbus, the old building, and it was
2010,
pretty much
2011
in that area. Yes.
Yeah.
And we kind of hit it off right off the bat. You know, as soon as I saw the green hat, it was enough. You know, and I enjoy Steve's company. We love to stroke each other a bit, I guess, and it's a good time. It's a good time.
Yep.
That's Brandon again. Do I have a picture of your tractor, Bob, by any chance?
Yeah, you should. I had the red-blooded tractor, which I sold a couple years ago, and then my brother and I are pulling another one, the Hot Rod Harvester.
Is that red-blooded?
No. It's an 82 series like that, but no, that's not it.
Give me a few minutes. I can probably get one to you.
I think I uploaded everything that you guys had sent me. I'm looking right now. I apologize.
Not a problem. Yeah, it started out, the limited Pro Stocks were mixed in with the Pro Stock tractors, and a group of guys got together out of Columbus and said, you know, we ran good, but they were just a bit better, you know, especially on a good track. And we ended up getting together at Columbus and kind of talking over the rules and kind of did a vote in to one guy. He was held all the numbers and so forth. And we basically came up with the rules and created our own class. And it seemed to grow pretty good from there.
Cool. Brian Beckius Larson, is that the guy that's sponsoring your poll this weekend, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, so what tractors does Brian have?
He's got 3 limited Pro Stock diesels.
I don't expect you to know everything off the top of your head, Matt. I'm sorry.
Well, I have the registration right here. I can tell you the name. Lack of Control, Austin's Revenge, and Overspooled. I don't have any pictures of them, but
okay. If you guys can see his comment on the screen, he looks up to you guys. So I mean, he says all the greats. So that's pretty impressive. So.
Ooh. Yeah, it's been I myself kind of got out of tractor pulling for a little while, and locally, a couple guys had some diesels, and they were pulling them. Actually, my daughter was growing up, and she had plenty of things that we had to do, and I just got out of it, and guys were pulling, and I looked and I said, you know, if I go back in this, I think that's what I want to do. And basically I had an old Pro Stock alcohol tractor with most of the good parts in the rear end and so forth. So I just put the diesel motor in it and just started working from there. Enjoyed it, actually. I mean, some days you want to pull your hair out, but we've all been there. But I enjoyed it. I have to, and still do.
That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. So,
yeah.
So what group do you pull with in Indiana?
Now I'm in Pennsylvania.
Sorry. I'm sorry. Marty's in Indiana. Yeah, you're in PA. You're in Ruffsdale, right? Yep.
Yes. I've been pulling with, they call it Listy Grove. They're connected with the Appalachian Outlaws, if you've heard of them.
Yes.
We're kind of an offshoot of them. We tried to do the diesels, but just didn't get the response we needed. Wanted at least 12 tractors and just couldn't get it. And we're running a mixed class with handicaps now, single cylinder, basically super stocks, and then the modified twin cylinders, a couple different classes of that, and not classes, but tractors. And then I'm really the only diesel in the class. And again, we have the handicaps, and it worked out pretty good this year. No real dominance in it. I think I ended up 5th. Of course, they paid back four places. You know how that works.
Yeah, we've all been there.
Big bucks.
Yeah, right.
We've all been there. So if you're just joining us, we're talking diesel garden tractor pulling tonight. Limited pro stock diesels, and of course compact diesels. We also have Matt Larson with us. He is a promoter of the New Richmond Midwest Super Pull in New Richmond, Wisconsin, this Friday and Saturday, the 7th through the 8th. So if you have any questions, please type them in the comments. I really want people to ask, how do we, I want to get started with a diesel garden tractor. Where do I do? I want to get into some of that tonight, who some of the builders are. We can share phone numbers and stuff like that, because the whole idea behind Let's Grow Pulling is to collaborate and talk and meet more people, as time goes on. So,
hey, Jason.
Right. Yes, Steve.
I think the biggest question is, how do we start? I see these garden tractors. How do I get a smoker? Everybody wants a smoker.
Yep.
And this is my personal opinion, and we talk about this all the time on our chat groups. But my personal opinion is it's hard to get a limited pro or a pro stock going. So the easiest way to jump in, I think, is to get a stock garden tractor and throw a 3-cylinder diesel motor in it, normally aspirated. And most of the clubs are totally against it. They say, oh, no, we can't do that. Well, build a tractor. Tell them you're going to run exhibition and run with whatever class. Down here, what I did was the 2-cylinder class, the V-twins. I said, I'm going to run with the stock V-twins. Put me at the end of the class. I'm going to run exhibition. Just let me pull. And that's where I started. And then when people saw that, they started building them. I want that. Well, our rules, we then came up with stock diesel rules. We have a cubic inch limit, non-turbo, factory intake manifolds, factory exhaust manifolds. I mean, a lot of rules, all the safety equipment. You have to have 3 to a class. Well, we instantly got 3 to a class. And, I mean, you can cobble together a stock diesel. I mean, a lot of guys can do it with what's laying in their yard or in their barn. If you want to build something like I built, I probably have 5,000 in that green one. Not that one, but the one previous that you showed. I probably had 5,000 in it only because I like my stuff pretty. But you can cobble stuff together and make a good puller for a lot. That right there, I probably had 5,000 in that one. And that's a lot for a stock diesel.
So, hey, real quick question, Steve. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you like John Deere?
Let me show you my underwear.
I gotta check with Charles and Ryan and Cody to see if that's allowed. So,
this is the family show, Steve.
Okay, there we go.
You're wearing those tonight, Steve.
Well, wait, I don't have any on tonight. Never mind.
All right, we just tipped the corner here.
It's Monday night. I don't wear them on Monday night.
Oh shoot!
But no, really, people say they run into roadblocks, but I say build a tractor and show up and run exhibition. I mean, you know what? If you're doing it for fun, does it really matter? We're not doing this for the money.
I've been doing that for 5 years.
So just go have fun. And I'm telling you, people will follow. When they see the smoke, they follow. They'll start building and asking. And from there, I mean, you just go up from there. Down here in Texas, there is no other limited pros or pros. I run in a open class. I've ran against 4 cylinders. I mean, I run against just whatever. I really just test and tune down here. I don't get to run against anybody. It's just for fun down here.
Well, you have an awesome shop because I've been there, and I love that was a good time when we came down here yet. So, Brandon Perry, we haven't heard from you yet. We're going to bring you up here. Where are you at? I don't think we've ever had this many people on the show, guys. I got to flip through a whole thing there. So, Brandon Perry.
All right, you hear me all right?
Yeah. You're ugly, but we can hear you.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. So we don't pull for fun in Ohio. We're in it for blood up here. If any of you guys come up here, we are the heart of limited pro stack pulling here in Ohio.
I agree.
I think that my house right here, just south of Lake Erie, if we put a 50-mile circle around my house, we probably have 10 tractors, if not more. Honestly, within the whole, 5-6 miles from my house, I could probably round up 6 or 7 of these tractors.
That's pretty good.
So we, as a group here, that tractor right there is Sam Mullins. And so the class kind of really started with a couple guys from Ohio here. And it was a variation of some big cube stuff, which Jason, you headed up, that button buck tractor. That tractor there was a few of them that were they were testing the waters and coming up with a class. And the tractor that kind of came to the top, which a lot of you guys all know, Kenny Lucius. Kenny went all over the place promoting this class and basically got, the guys in Columbus established the rules, but Kenny went all over the place promoting that class. And there was a lot of years Kenny went all over the place being the only guy promoting. And then here in the last several years, it really picked up. So this guy here with the special blend tractor, he is really probably I'm going to tell you, he's the core of why the Ohio stuff grew so fast and why this class is growing. Sam Mullins is an open book when it comes to trying to help a guy get started. And my first motor was actually built by Sam. And so it's pretty neat to see one guy that takes his knowledge and spreads it around, and then it rubs off on everyone else. And it's really growing a good core group of guys. We're all out for each other. If you win, you got the target on your back. But there's been some bad instances where stuff's happened, like a tractor crashing, or someone needed some help with a broken drive shaft bolt, or anything like that. Everyone jumps out there and helps each other. So, like I said, I think that here in Ohio, the reason that this class has grown so much is because all the Ohio guys have helped each other to push the class along. I'm speaking pretty boldly, I would say, for Ohio, but I think that we've probably got the strongest limited pro stock diesel class, anywhere. You come over here and you compete. I think it's saying something for anyone that comes in.
So here's what I'm proud about. The Grand National Diesel Superstock Champion is watching the show. So when we say we wanted to put a spotlight on your class tonight, it's super cool. And Hovind, you see my hat, buddy? My wife. Yeah, buddy.
Yeah.
Do a little sucking up to my guests. So now I got to look for Brandon. I got to look for Brandon Perry's hat next. So
hey, Jason, you know what this is?
That's whiskey.
What?
I've been to your house, so I know what we do there. So,
Jason, we don't want to know if you got the matching underwear. So I'm sorry.
No, I'm good.
That's not on.
No.
I haven't drank yet tonight, so I'll behave. Dean Moody wants to know, where are you at in Ohio, Brandon? You said south of Lake Erie.
Yeah. So if everybody knows where Cedar Point is,
that's where the big roller coasters are, right?
Yep. So that's the roller coaster capital of the United States, I would say. So we're about 20 minutes south of there.
Okay.
So you guys primary dirt? You don't do any asphalt, or you do any asphalt pulling as well?
Oh yeah, we do asphalt pulling. To be honest with you, I kind of enjoy asphalt pulling because you see a lot more guys come on the sidelines and watching. Dirt pulls are okay. I enjoy going to them, but these small street fairs that we go to and put these pulls on.
There you go, Dan.
You got people lined from one side to the other, and they sit there and they love watching these things smoke and go up and down the track. We get pretty good mile per hour. You're 16, 17, 18 mile an hour going down a little city street pulling a 7,000-pound sled. It puts on a good show and it's fun.
I don't even know how to keep up with the questions. I should just get, if you guys see them up on the screen there.
I'm looking at Chuck Fowler just asked about our frames.
Okay.
The stock diesels we use wide frame Cubs, or we'll use the spread frame. Either one works. Pretty much the Limited Pro and the Pro stocks are all custom chassis, either a stamped U-channel or tube frame. I don't know if we have any tube frames out there right now, but they're all usually just the U-channel or a custom built chassis. There may be actually in Ohio. There's probably some stock Cub chassis, aren't there, Brandon?
Yeah, so that's I was just looking. Chuck Fowler asked Quiet Line Cub frame. So every tractor that I've built, I've got one downstairs being built. My Cub that I run is a 1200 Cub with a stock Cub hood on it. My brother's tractor is a Quiet Line frame with a John Deere hood on it. I mean, I puked in my throat there when I said that. I'm sorry.
Hey.
But
you might have gotten a little on the hoodie.
You involved.
Yeah.
Brandon, this is you, right, buddy? Brandon?
Yeah, that's me. Yeah,
and you're like 6'9", right?
Not quite that tall, but 6'5", yeah.
Yeah, you're a big boy on the garden tractor. So.
Yep. Yeah, so I think I sent you a picture of underneath the hood. So any of those guys that wanted to see that, it's a tight fit underneath there, but you have to think 10 steps ahead as you're building these tractors to try to get them all, everything underneath there to fit. So for the most part, everything. No, not that one.
That's Kevin's. That's Kevin Moore money right there. Cha-ching.
I was going to say that doesn't fit under a stock Cub Cadet.
So I've got some questions about that later when we get to. I'm thinking we'll probably get to rules in each class. I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Okay. Remind me, because I do have some questions for Kevin on that.
You just keep drinking. We'll remind you. So.
Oh no, I'm good.
I'm just trying to find pictures of under the hood of. Oh, there we go. No, that's Steve's.
No, that's not Steve's. That is the button buck tractor. That's a twin turbo tractor. So if you look at it, you can see two different chargers. You see the guillotine on the right, and then the charger on the top.
Charles, you get excited a little bit.
How big are those chargers?
Yeah. I don't remember how big they were, but that was actually didn't have a Volkswagen engine in it?
No, that was a Yanmar.
Yeah, that's a Yanmar.
Yeah. Chris Marty, he runs a super farm now, but he still has that tractor, I believe. Yeah,
that tractor sits probably about 5 miles from my house. So yeah, that tractor, as far as I know, is still over there. That was Liberty.
We'll get in the truck. We want to find out what size turbos they are. If it's only 5 miles, it'd be like a 10-minute trip.
Yeah.
Ryan gets bossy, Brandon. Don't worry. Just ignore him.
Shut it.
Just give me a call some other time, and we'll do a live stream between each other. I'll get you in person with them. That tractor there is a Quiet Line frame. That's my brother's tractor. That's a stock Cub frame with John Deere sheet metal. We got to put those little swoops on the front because we ain't got enough room to put all the other crap we need on the tractor. So there's a fuel pump and a water injection pump stuffed underneath that little swoop on the front, or else probably wouldn't even have that stuff on there.
Is that a Busch Light can?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Is that the stack?
Corn cans.
Is that just sitting on top there?
It's just a cover. You get people going around that gets creative and want to stuck whatever down inside of them. So we always.
I think this is you, Brandon.
Hey, here's Justin's brother.
Was that you?
Yeah, that was me.
Okay.
Hey, here's Justin's brother, Brandon Berry. Driving the pork drop.
sometimes you guys smoke like crazy. Is that just you? How much fuel you're using on the track you're on, Brandon?
So every tractor is a little bit different, of course, but so my tractor, I try to do stuff, everything on my own, I guess. So that injection pump is built by me, and it doesn't put out quite as much fuel as some of the other ones do. So, I mean, I went all over the place, so I don't know that fuel is the biggest issue for these tractors. But
no, it's just way cooler. It's just way cooler.
It is, but you know, I guess winning is a little more fun too.
How much?
But yeah, that tractor usually doesn't smoke a whole lot. It runs down through there probably about 50 pounds of boost, and it stays pretty clear almost the whole time.
I have to say, you guys have like some of the most uncomfortable looking seats. Like it's there's no room for like that was a bad bump. That was just,
if you bobble, you're coming off.
Yeah, like there's not even a lip on the side to hold you in.
Yeah.
No, so we slide.
There's a video that I think I sent Jason where the camera's facing back at me, and where was it? That was at Bob. Where did we pull in November? I'm coming off the seat about 2 to 3 inches on those bumps. So at that point, you're just holding the steering wheel.
So those tractors, the only way that you can really steer them is to slide all over those seats, because we don't have brakes. So you know, the idea behind those flat seats is pretty much to be able to slide around and steer the tractor. But we have a couple slam sleds that'll get you. You know, I think I run almost 19 mile an hour at one of the places, and when the bar hit on the slam sled, I actually slid forward on the sleek because it stopped the tractor so fast.
Yep.
So, you know, I wouldn't want to be strapped into one. I can tell you that. I think that I sent you, Jason, a picture of a tractor upside down. A friend of ours had an accident last year, and actually rolled his tractor, and it was upside down. And had you been strapped into that thing, that would have been a whole lot worse. So.
Brandon, you brought up a good point. Speeds. So speeds of our tractors, a stock tractor, I'm going to say we're about 8 to 10 miles an hour. The limited pros, I've seen 20-ish at Columbus, the old Columbus track. And then the limited pro, I think the fastest I've seen is like 26 miles an hour.
That's moving.
Yeah.
And when the slam sled hits, you're going into the wheel. I mean, it stops you.
Yep, you sure do.
Perry, I think you know the Mr. Pulltown nut guy. He's like the big drinker at Bowling Green. So.
Oh, that guy.
Oh, that guy.
The big drinker.
Yep. It's just a general term used to describe people that go to Bowling Green. Very well said, Brandon. All right, let's move to our friend Kevin Moore. Kevin, when Brandon was talking about going all over and campaigning his tractor all by himself, I thought of you. And I want people to know what the little red hooker is before he talks. Here's a video from Kevin at his hometown pull in Oquawka, Illinois. The cameraman here was okay, so I'm going to apologize a little bit ahead of time. I might have been drinking that night. So.
No.
In fourth place, Mike Dietrich, Mortonville, Wisconsin. In third place, Gary Stakes, Kevin Moore, Little Red Hooker. There you go. What do you think, guys? I'll finish off in second place. Greg Norton, your winner. Our hometown boy. Let's put together again. Let's let him hear inside the helmet. Kevin Moore, walking Illinois. You're 1,850.
So we talked about limited pro stock diesels, pro stock diesel, and then Kevin, I call it a diesel mini rod. You call it a compact diesel. Can you talk about your class a little bit?
Yeah, that all started up in Edgerton, Wisconsin, with the Tri-County Pullers. A couple of guys laid the rules down. John Stranley was part of it. And I caught wind of it about 6 years ago and ended up building one. And we've come a long ways in 5 years. It's all Hazley. It's a Hazley motor. Them guys have done me unbelievable job. We didn't get to pull last year. We went to freshen the motor, and of course COVID with the way it was and everything, and we couldn't get a charger, and we ended up getting 3 last year. Couldn't pull any of them, but I was just on the phone last week with Van, and the motor's all back together, and Weimers tells us that we're going to have a charger here in a week or so. Van had an accident out in his shop there 2 weeks ago. His dyno exploded. And so they've been trying to build parts for it to get it back together, and he's got most of it done. And so hopefully here in another couple weeks, I was planning on being at New Richmond, but that didn't happen. So in another week, so we hope to be back up and get it put back together so we can get back out there.
Matt texted me. He was pretty mad at me that I had you on the show and you weren't going to be in New Richmond this weekend. So.
Yeah, I really wanted to be, and I actually thought there was going to be there's actually a new tractor done in Rockford, Illinois. It's going to be called All Lit Up, and this tractor kind of come out of nowhere, and I can't wait to see it. I've been talking to him quite a bit, and I thought we was going to be up there, but he can't be home this weekend. So hopefully we'll be at the Kevin Rudd Memorial deal there at Spark Nordahl's Memorial.
That's in May, right?
Yeah, Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah, yep. Good deal.
So
I was just teasing about Larson. He didn't text me. You know that, right? So,
oh yeah. Okay. So
Matt, I can't bust Chuck a promoter. He's a good guy. Do you know what I'm saying? That'd be bad. So
no, I wanted to come up and fill that building full of smoke, but
like Shipshawana?
Yeah.
Big fans. We'll get the smoke out of there. You come up.
I want to. I'll be there next year.
We're counting on it.
All right. I hope to have 2 or 3 of them with me.
But honestly, Kevin, whenever sorry,
Kevin, what color does that was that new tractor wearing? What kind of sheet metal?
Case.
Really?
Yes. He's not shown me a picture. I've helped him a lot, and no pictures have been seen yet. So, but it's supposed to be sheet metal as a 1030 case.
Nice.
And the new one, our new one, we won't see it this year, but it's going to be sheet metal as a DC case.
That's different.
Very cool. I didn't know you were building a new one.
Yeah, there's a new one in the shop. It's been here for over a year, but we just, after we couldn't get parts last year, we just kind of backed away a little bit. Most of Corey's motor's done. Transmission's done. We actually went back and redesigned the intake plenum. We got away from the log, and we've got a new billet plenum, and they've been seeing really good results out of these things. So hopefully we're going to pick up a few more horse while we do this. But yeah, hopefully her tractor will be done for next year. I hope.
So while we're on the subject of sheet metal, how much custom or modifications do you guys have to do to the sheet metal to get everything to fit?
Well, the sheet metal that I run, the sheet metal that I'm running, actually that's 284 International Cub Cadet, and we put 6 inches in the top of that hood to make it fit. And so there's a little bit of, actually that chassis is just as wide as a 1066 chassis. So, but I've got a new kid out of Rockford that is going to sheet metal the hooker this winter. And when it comes out, it's going to be really cool.
Can you say he's going to sheet metal the hooker again for me real slow?
Yeah, that's what he's going to do. But it's been so much fun, like Steve said, you got to promote it, and that's what we've been doing the last few years. Actually, we probably won't run hardly anything with the Tri-County Pullers this year. We're going to run PPL. The Midwest PPL has adopted small block blower tractors, and the diesel rules. So I'm going to go run PPL this year in Missouri. So that's going to be something new and interesting. We'll see what happens.
Hey, I got a question about the motor.
Yes, sir.
I know overseas they run the Volkswagen, the TDI motors.
Yep.
Overhead valve.
Yep.
You guys don't allow that here, correct?
No, not really. The Tri-County rule reads 250 cubic inch, has to be a manufactured block, and you cannot run a billet pump. So, it's 4B Cummins, of course, stock bore. We run a P pump there, and there's no limit on the charger, and there's no limit RPMs, and you can do it any way you want to do it. You cannot run an ice box. You have to blow water. So that's how we are set up.
What's your weight?
23 pounds. 2,300. And when you get with the 4B, Hazley's would not build that motor without filling the block in the head, because they said that it'll just disintegrate itself.
Right. Yeah.
And so we filled it. They do have some really cool stuff out right now. Actually, Corey's new motor will be aluminum filled. That's a new deal they're doing now. So we'll pick up a few more pounds of movable weight.
That's what I was wondering. Is it easy keeping under it, or how tough is it?
Right now, I run a TRB 106 rear end. That helped a lot. We're going to try a Dana 60 in Corey's new tractor with an automatic behind it. So right now, I've got about 70 pounds of movable weight.
There you go, Dan. I think he answered your question that you just posted.
Yeah. So not a lot, but there are a few things that you can do. I run a gearbox that actually we're getting ready to start manufacturing, a quick change box that takes Profab gears. So we found a machine shop to build them, and we're going to start manufacturing them.
Very nice.
Yep.
Since we're talking mechanics, I think it was asked a while ago, but what type of clutch are you guys running compared to, say, full-size tractors? Is that a custom clutch that you guys are building, or how are you doing that?
I run 11-inch twin disc Crowder with a billet flywheel, of course. And then we run a blow can, because you're sitting on top of it, that's for sure.
If I've missed somebody's question and you want to ask Kevin or the Pro Stock Diesel guys or the Limited Pro Stock Diesel guys a question, or Matt Larson about New Richmond this weekend, please type it in the comments. I'll start putting them up on the screen so we can circle back there. Kevin, give us a rough budget to build a compact diesel today. Unless your accountant's watching and you don't want to talk about it, it's okay.
For what we know now and the parts that we have manufactured, Hazley's have built a lot of parts for the 4B, just because the first couple years we stretched the limits on just about everything. And so we've got a lot of stuff built now, and the engineering's a lot cheaper. You could get into that one for $75,000-$80,000. That's from the ground up.
Okay.
And that's new. There's some chassis out there. There is a tractor, so the story's being told, that's going to come out of Indiana next year on a wedge chassis.
Ooh.
Yep. So we'll see. Yep.
All right. So here we go. So let's circle back now. Kevin, thank you. Let's circle back to Limited Pro Stock Diesel. Let's talk about those motors, guys. And then Tyler Underwood, he wants everyone's opinion on the costs of a Limited Pro Stock Diesel. So you heard Steve talk earlier on. If you want to get diesel garden tractor pulling, and I hate calling it garden tractor pulling, but I don't know what else to say. Sorry. Is that just the term we use? Is it garden tractor pulling?
That's correct. Garden.
I just hate tractor pulling. We take like 5 words and we
just don't call it lawnmower.
Just don't call it lawnmowers. Yeah,
yeah,
I agree. It's just so much more than that, but I get it.
It's a wordy dirt.
Like Steve said, if you want to get started, Steve said just put together a stock diesel and go pull. And he basically said you get in front of some people, and then they're going to ask about it, and then that's how it starts. So don't go out and, unless you have FU money, you don't need to go out right away and go big right out of the gate and just knock some stuff out to do that. So kind of go stock diesel, guys, and it goes Limited Pro Diesel, correct?
Yes.
So Marty or Steve or Brandon or Bob, you guys kind of want to take that over? Just let's talk about the build, how one gets started, and just a ballpark range maybe of what you think it would cost to be competitive today.
Yeah, so I got a friend just down the road here building one. And so when I first got on the track, probably 6 years ago, with this class, the first thing that was preached to me through and through was transmission. These tractors eat Cub transmissions. The Cub transmission is a strong transmission, but the only way to hold the diesel power is with a planetary setup. And I sent you a few of those pictures too, Jason, of the planetary setup, the transmission. To get started with a limited pro stock diesel, I think the big thing is spend the money on the transmission, and that's not going to be cheap. That's going to be you're gonna have $4,000 in a transmission alone, real quick, if not more, depending on how you build it and what you put in it, and if you can do it yourself, I mean the welding and the machining and the different things that need to be done, you can do it cheaper. I don't know that I necessarily think that, the best way, depending on what your class is. Yeah, that's the motor in my tractor. For around here, there's if you build a stock diesel tractor, you're going to be competing against guys like us. And if you take that same 5,000 you put into a big tractor or a little tractor, put in the rear end and get started on a limited, I think you're going to be a lot further ahead. The cost can be offset depending on what you have to give for the parts. So my case, I had bought a 1105 Kubota diesel motor. It was in a mower. I stole the motor out of it, and I parted the rest of the machine out, and I ended up coming out over $1,000 a head on the machine, and I got to keep the motor. So that's a good way to offset your cost, knowing what you're looking for, knowing where to buy it. I mean, I found some of these Kubota motors for $300-400, and there's not a bunch of them out there, but you find an old light tower, it's got the tires ripped off it and stuff. You can build a tractor for this class very reasonable. And the motor in my tractor, the funny thing is my tractor has got stock rods, stock pistons, it's got a reground cam, the injection pump. I've done all the work myself on the injection pump. I've actually done videos on how to time them on YouTube, how to tear it apart, put them back together. They're very, I'll say simple, but there's not a lot to a limited pro stock diesel motor other than making sure you got good ring gap and a good camshaft in it. Other than that, most of those things are really stock to the core.
So Brandon, just to add to your transmission comments in the rear end, when you build them solid with the planetaries, we've been running ours for 8 years and have had zero issues with them. So if you build them up right to begin with, they're going to last you, and you're not going to be working on them. So I think that's fantastic advice, right? To spend that money up front. It's the torque on the diesels, right? It's that simple. And so if you build them up right, put the planetaries in them, they're going to last a long time. So I second that wholeheartedly. If you're running more of the stock, right, you may be able to get by with more of the, available parts that are out there. And there's some guys, just to be honest, there's some guys out there running the hydros now that are on some of the Facebook forums that we have that are having a lot of fun with them. And so that's what the garden tractors came with for the most part, when they were from production, whether they were IH or Kubota, was the hydros. And you can have fun with those. There's a few guys that post a lot that, they're putting turbos on them and, just to have fun, to get started. Right now, if you're going to put 1105 and start putting, 130 horsepower through them, okay, that's a different story.
Jason, those pictures you're doing right there are stock diesels. That red one you did, and that's my son on one of mine. And then I think there's a gray one that I sent you that's kind of jazzed up. Yeah, those are stock diesels. And Brandon is correct. Put the money in the transmission wholeheartedly. But like where I live, we will probably never see a limited pro down here unless I build it, which actually I got a chassis heading that way. But anyway, the brush pullers, all they'll ever do is a stock tractor. All I tell them is put a dart rear end in it and go pull. Because they're just not going to they won't put the money into it. They just won't.
Right.
I don't know. There's probably pockets. I wish I lived in Ohio because I would love living in the heart of you guys. Love it, love it, love it.
Right.
But
and the big thing is know your competition. So,
yes.
This area is, there's tractors, there's at least 2 or 3 more tractors right now in the works here in Ohio that has not hit the track at all. And so, knowing the competition and who you're going to pull with, that makes a big difference too. So I wouldn't tell, like you said, I wouldn't tell anybody to go crazy and build a big diesel tractor if you don't have the competition, or, maybe you want to try to grow it in your area. But I think it takes, I think the big holdback on why the class doesn't grow as fast as it should is it takes a lot to build one. It really does. A lot of tuning, a lot of time. And without a backing like we have here in Ohio, you're not, it's a lot harder to grow the class because, right off the bat, just like something simple as water injection. Well, a lot of guys don't know how much, water injection or what kind of nozzles or anything along that lines, what you need in order to get that tractor started. And if you don't have the right amount of water going to it, what happens, so things like that you can bounce off your local guys really supports the class. A few years back, I would say the money was not an issue as far as people trying to stick into these tractors and get, started building. I think you could have gotten on the track pretty easy for, anywhere from $7,000 to $10,000 with a tractor running down the track a few years back. Now, a friend of mine just down the road's building one, and he does a ton of fab work himself, building it from, it's a tube chassis tractor. It's got a bunch of aluminum all over it. So it's not being built in the most cheapest fashion. A cheaper fashion would be kind of the route that I've gone with the stock frame and so on. But that tractor, he said he added up and he's approaching $14,000 in it because of how high the cost of parts have gone. So it's almost double. I'm building another tractor right now. My planetary rear end's been done for a couple of years. The motor's done, but just buying some water injection stuff. I was looking online the other day at some old receipts that I had saved, and the cost of water injection stuff is double. The cost of parts right now, I think, is going to really hold some people back because, unless you're a guy that's already pulling and wanting to downgrade some. I had talked to a guy the other day at Napa. Heath, I'm not even gonna say his name. Never mind. But anyway, he told me the cost of his head for his tractor, and you could build 2 limited pro stock diesels through and through, painted.
There's Bob.
You could build 2 of those tractors for the cost of just the head on one of these big pulling tractors. So,
yeah, Brandon, I think that's spot on, right? It's all relative. 10 to 15,000 is compared to a big pro stock, right? So if you want to get in and have some fun and blow some smoke and still go fast, this is a really good class to get into, and you don't need the big haulers to pull them around. I grew up on a farm, but I don't live on a farm anymore, and I can have all the stuff in my garage. So that's another big plus with these, that you just don't need all the space. You don't need the expensive trailers and the trucks and the haulers to do it. Again, it's relative, depending on what you want to spend, but for 15 grand, you can have a hell of a lot of fun with these things.
And 15,000 is going to be top of the mark, I believe. I really believe top of the mark. My first track on a limited. Yeah. Yeah. A pro stock, Steve, you might want to cover that one. Make sure your wife's not on, Steve, because I've seen that motor at Zach Kerber's, so I can only imagine how that one went.
Yeah, no, we're good.
Yeah, his house is separate from his shop. It's down the hill. He's okay, so he can see her coming.
So what's the difference in limited pro and pro? Right.
Hold on, Steve. Hold on, Steve.
That's the difference between limited pro and pro. So right there's $3,000. Used to be. I don't know what it is now.
Who produces that?
Used to be Columbus, but Fair Valley is the go-to now for me anyway.
Right. So are they making those?
Well, it's a Bosch A pump, and they modify it.
Okay.
It's a factory pump, but it's just modified.
Gotcha.
So that cubic inch and those little guys.
Well, you're direct injected, so a limited pro is not going to be direct injected for the. Yeah.
These help too. I mean that's really the difference in the two is the cubic inch. So limited pro is 70 cubic inch. Pro stock is 75 cubic inch. They're both single turbos. The limited pro is a box pump. The pro stock is an inline pump or a external pump. Limited pro is indirect injected. Pro stock is direct injected. I mean, that's pretty much it. Those are your differences. But I mean, a well-tweaked pro stock, there's dyno numbers out there. I don't think you'll ever see them posted, but well, let's just say this. Carlton Cope has built a couple. He built one of mine, and he built Russ Nichols' old tractor. He built that motor. And those are pushing 100 PSI boost, and they've touched 400 on the dyno. I can tell you they're not pulling that. They're not pulling at 400 horse. Now, my spike tractor, Calvin Becker built years ago. Well, that was another thing I was going to touch on, but he built it years ago, and it's probably the most reliable pro stock tractor there is. I bet it's pushing 50, 60 passes on it, and I bet it'll go another 50 to 60 passes without any problem. It's running, and this pass right here, if you turn the volume up, it's still pulling and lugging at about 4,500 RPMs, 4,000 RPMs. It just goes and goes and goes. Is that on
spike?
That's spike? Yeah. It doesn't see over 6,000 RPMs going down the track, and I mean it just goes and goes. And I mean, it's not going to win a pro stock pull these days, but it will win if somebody breaks down, which somebody will break down.
Imagine how good it would do if it was red sheet metal.
Bad idea is totally opposite. It's a wild animal.
Say that again, Brandon. I don't think Steve heard you.
What's that?
I said, imagine how good that tractor would do if it was red sheet metal.
Horrible. That was in Liberty, Kentucky a couple years ago. Remember that, Bob? Bad gear selection, but it just pulled and pulled all the way down to 4,000 RPMs, never came off the turbo.
Larson, Google Princeton, Texas to New Richmond, Wisconsin, just for fun. Just for fun.
What's that?
I want Matt Larson to Google New Richmond, Wisconsin to Princeton, Texas, just for fun.
Yeah.
So, just for fun. See what you're doing this weekend. It's Easter. Take a little family road trip. So
I think there's maybe a pro stock tractor going to be up in Wisconsin. Does anybody know about that this weekend or next weekend?
Yeah, I believe there's one. I don't recall the guy's name. It's actually sitting in River Falls, Wisconsin. I believe right now.
Yes. We'll see how that I'll be interested in seeing that.
If that's the one. And then I know Brian was working on another one. So.
We've probably got 10 pro stocks across the United States, I'm guessing. And that's it.
Where do you guys get together to compete?
Well, that's another issue with the diesels. We used to get together several times a year. Columbus was kind of our Super Bowl, Columbus, Ohio, and then they moved it to Springfield. But we kind of got snuffed out because nobody liked the smoke in the building.
Kevin Moore. It's all Kevin Moore's fault.
Yeah, all my fault.
We kind of got pushed out of that deal.
He can't go back to Shipshewana anymore either. Don't feel bad.
No, I'm going to Shipshewana next year. We will be there.
I feel that kind of hurt us pretty bad. Was that when we got pushed out of there, that kind of hurt our deal.
So what you're saying is that Kevin is the reason we can't have nice things.
Hey, Bob, I think you're muted. Shut your mute off or turn your mute off.
Yeah, Bob's been quiet.
He's muted.
That's unusual for Bob.
See if you can
There's
unmute
something
him.
going on. Bob, log off and log back on. Something's goofy on your end, buddy.
I know he's got some input.
I'm going to kick him out of the studio and let him
Log-
get back here. Are you guys using 3-cylinder Kubotas? Austin Thurby wants to know.
Yeah, so the limited pro stock class is kind of pretty much run over by Kubotas for the most part. There is some Shiburas. There's a few smaller cubic inch Yanmars, and they're smaller cubic inch just because everything above, I think, what is it, 55, Steve, goes to a different style. So for the most part, you see a lot of Kubotas. And a Kubota is rock solid. I'm telling you guys, if anyone's looking for a motor for anything, the 1105 is just completely just so rock solid. The crank slides in the end. It doesn't come down from the top. The whole block is gusseted. We actually, my brother's tractor broke a rod, shoved part of the rod through the block. And one night we went and got another piston. We cleaned up the block, cleaned up the crank. We siliconed the side of the block to get to the pole the next day. And the tractor is still running that way. And I mean, it probably should have something done to it, but how are you going to mess with a tractor that still wins and is consistently at the top? It just speaks so much to the Kubota motor. So, if anyone wants to build one or get into it, the 1105, the 05 series, so there's a 905, a 1005, and 1105. 1105 is the biggest cubic inch out of all those. And if you're going to do something, that is the rock solid power plant to build on. The biggest downfall to them, and I think the way that you save the heads, is seasoning them. Getting them kind of hot and cooling them down, hot and cool, not just going out there and stuffing, 40, 50 pounds of boost to it right away, and they seem to crack pretty bad. So I think, a lot of success comes from seasoning them, getting hot and cold, and not running them so hard out of the gate. But that is the weak point on the Kubota, is the head by far. So, but yeah, Kubota is big in that. I know the pro stock, it's primary Yanmar, right?
Yeah.
Steve?
Yanmar's the only way to go. And mainly that's because of the indirect injection. And they're rock solid in the pro stock class. They just don't break. Well, you can break them, but mainly the only problem is season pistons, getting them too hot, but heads don't crack, rods don't come through the side. I mean, they are stout motors.
This is Bob. I'm back.
There he is.
I don't know. Maybe if you don't talk or anything for a while, it shuts you off. I'm not sure what's going on, but anyway, I'm back.
Steve's been slipping me $20 on Venmo to mute you. So.
I wouldn't doubt that.
Yeah, that's good. Money's money. So
I completely agree with Brandon. The Kubotas are a very strong motor. I think I'm just replacing one now. I've cracked 4 heads on Kubotas through the years. Now it's been a number of years, but I'm going to hard block it. I've done it before and it's worked. So that's the direction I'm going.
What Yanmar do you guys use
on the pro stock?
Yeah, go ahead, Steve.
Oh, I see that. Yeah. On the pro stocks, it's the 78, the TNA or TNE 78. Some guys, I think Russ Nichols has used the 84 and then sleeved it, which is legal in the class. We allow that. And it just gives you a thicker wall, piston wall. But yeah, because his tractor's running on explode all the time. So I think he's been running, the new guy is running the 84 motor, which is a little bit bigger. It is a little heavier. But the 78 series is the way to go in Pro Stock. There's some of us toying with the smaller cube Yanmars in the Limited Pro. We're going to get there. It's just taking some time. We're going to be smaller cubic inch, but I think we're going to get there.
Yeah,
Steve, what would those motors have come in as a stock tractor?
If you can get a hold of your local golf course, any golf course with boneyard, it's going to come on all the Jacobson and John Deere, all your greens mowers, all that kind of equipment has Kubota and Yanmar. Of course, John Deere, any of the John Deere is going to have Yanmar in it. You're going to have to go to like the 7 or 8 series tractor to get the 78 motor, I think. It's basically a 35 horse motor, I think is what it is.
Check your local scrap yards too. You'll get them for scrap prices at times.
Yeah, yep. Now we dry block head and block on the Yanmars. Actually, Spike has got a wet head and a dry block. Bad Idea is all dry. Never had any problems with cracking anything.
Is that the same Yanmar that would be in like a mini excavator to them?
Yes. Yeah.
Does anybody at Yanmar know what you guys are doing with these things?
Oh no.
They're out of warranty. They don't care.
Yeah.
I think Kubota does though, because every Kubota that comes out of a Kubota shop's got a hole drilled right in the side of the block.
Yeah, so I've got a dealer, a Kubota dealer, where early on I was taking all their bad motors, and they were told they had to, drill a 1/2 inch hole or a 3/4 inch hole through the cylinder, and I got them to start drilling it just into the water jacket. And then I would just, when I got them, I would thread them and put a freeze plug in it. And
attaboy.
No problem.
That's courtesy
well done.
of your
Very
local
well done.
EPA.
It's a good place for your turbo oil return also.
Yes, sir. Yep. So there's if you get a hold of Kubota and get all their warranty motors and get buddy with your parts guy, he'll, they want beer money too.
Understood.
So
grease the skids, fellas. Grease the skids.
They're on a pallet out back on Tuesday mornings.
Yep, 8 a.m.
Yep.
So what you're telling us is there's no Max Lagarde or Jerry Lagarde for Kubota motors or any of the Yanmar motors. You guys are filling that void.
Yeah. Now, as far as guys that'll build, like Zach Kerber will build, he'll build motors. He'll build the Limited Pro or a Pro Stock motor.
It's kind of like old NTPA, where a lot of garage or shade tree mechanics are work on your own equipment. I feel it's pretty satisfying myself.
So there's always the debate of bought, not built.
Yep.
Or built, not bought. And I'm unfortunately bought, not built.
Yep.
So I tend to buy. I don't have the time to build a tractor. Now, I built my stock diesel. I just don't have the time to do it. So I've traditionally bought the tractor, and then I'll make modifications once I get it, but I just don't have time to do it. And I honestly don't have the knowledge to go into the motor and do it myself. I just don't. And I don't have the time to learn it.
That's all good.
I've even thought about getting a sticker that says bought, not built.
I will take that one too. So,
but
just play to the haters. Just right now, just play to the haters.
Yeah. That being said, Carlton Cope will build you a Yanmar motor, but it's gonna cost you. It will cost you. But he's gonna build a really fine Pro Stock motor.
I got his business card right here if anybody needs it. So
What Brandon said earlier, though, is that you can build a pretty competitive engine, right, for mostly stock components.
Yeah.
And do pretty well. You know,
Yeah.
put a cam grind in it, you know, cut your piston, port the head, have the fuel system work done on a limited pro anyway.
Yeah.
And you can do pretty well with it.
Yep.
So, I mean, don't think that you've got to be what I'll call a diesel genius to work on these things and get them to run pretty well.
And Marty, you learn a lot on that too. If you have problems on the track, you can kind of figure them out.
Yep.
That's what I like.
I agree. I was able to build my own engine, right? You know, had some components machined, and we don't have it set on kill. And knock on wood, it's been very reliable for 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, it's not necessarily going to light the world on fire, but it's competitive and it holds up. So I mean, that goes back to the Kubota. Right, they're damn near bulletproof if you can keep them cool and don't crack the heads.
And that's
this stuff. Going back to a lot of you guys have all said the easiest way to get into this is to build a stock diesel. What kind of horsepower numbers are we talking about for a stock diesel tractor? What kind of numbers are we talking about?
20 to 30.
Okay.
With a 3-cylinder. So Brandon was just talking about the 05 series Kubota. I've built several 902s and 905s, and they make a perfect stock diesel motor. I mean, for a motor. I think, Jason, you had a really green-looking motor in there in some of those pictures. That's my 902 that I built, and it is bone stock. I just put all factory pistons. I put everything new in it is all I did. And you don't need to do that. You could pull a 1,000-hour motor and put it in a tractor and go pulling. Yeah, I totally rebuilt that motor. That's my $5,000 tractor right there, only because it's pretty and the John Deere green paint.
Yeah, John Deere paint's twice as expensive as red paint. We know that.
Yes. But that motor, I think stock is 18 horse. We've got some pump work done to it, and that's it. Like the stock class, you can't do anything to it other than a little pump work and a little cam work. And I think it was around 25 horse. And it's a fun tractor. You're going to compete with the 2-cylinder stock garden tractors. I did.
Lone Star Garden Tractor Pulling Association.
Yeah.
And there's a ton of D600 Kubotas that are the tiny,
real little ones.
There are a dime a dozen out there that you can put a little, you know, RHB31 turbo that you can get from Amazon, blow some smoke, turn the fuel screw up. You know, that's a good way to get started as well. You know, it may not make 25 horse, but readily available, have a lot of fun with it, and then go from there. I mean, that's what I did. You know, I started with the small one, didn't go fast enough, so I went to the bigger one, to the D1105. And there's nothing wrong with that. Start out small and grow.
I hear a lot of people have problems with their clubs. Oh, we don't want diesel. We don't want a class. The only way you can make it happen is to build it and just say, I'm going to run exhibition. Because I guarantee you, once you start blowing smoke, the crowds want to see it. They want to see it. They want to see it. And the clubs will start saying, oh, okay, yeah, run with these guys. We got, and they'll make adjustments. We adjusted hitch height. We changed weights. We made it work. And I mean, everybody can make it work. If you just go in it and say, I'm going to run exhibition, put me at the end of the pull, let me just pull. They're going to let you do it.
Yep.
So basically, you force the issue in a nice way.
That's what I did.
Kevin, that's what you did.
Yeah. It happened again this year. Dirt Flingers and Dairyland both picked up the diesel class. They adopted it, and I think the guys out at Tri-States, I think they're going to pick up the diesel class this year. So that's going to open the doors for the mini rod diesels too.
Kevin, do you pull against blown automobile engines?
Yes.
I thought so.
Yeah.
It does very well.
Yeah, and that's how we're going to run the PPL this year. in Missouri because, like I said, they adopted the class. We've got 5 hooks. We're going to be in Mound City, Missouri, and we'll be down in Mexico, Missouri this year with the PPL, and I'll run against the blown small blocks.
It does well.
Thank you. It's been a long trying expedition.
You said that's in Western Series you're running?
Yeah. The Western Series of the PPL. Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
You're down in my neck of the woods then.
Yeah. We'll be, like I said, Mound City, Missouri, Mexico, Washington, and the Missouri State Fair. We'll be there.
You think of that, Steve?
What's that? Oh, there you go. Little prayer before the pull.
Matt, as a promoter, I know you're hanging out with us. What do you think about the diesel classes? Like, what do you feel from the crowds? And you've been basically an alky guy, if you will, your whole life.
Everybody loves them, and everybody wants to see the smoke, and they love to talk to the pullers. And I wanted to touch on something that Brandon said earlier too. I love pulling. I've always almost exclusively until the last few years pulled on asphalt, and I get a lot of questions when I post videos about pulling on asphalt. And the cool part about asphalt is you can pull into some local town and you don't need all this equipment. You can pull right in front of a local bar or park, and if you're a lot of times our pits are right there, and it won't be long and some guy will be on his phone and talk to his buddy and say, "Oh my God, you got to see this! You got to get down here because you're right there, and they don't have to drive way out in the country or outside of town, or you're right there where the whole party is." So
half the time they're sitting in the bar out that you just pulled past.
Yep.
We pulled at a small festival, almost right next to Sandusky, Ohio, and these guys must have been down drinking, but it was lined from one end to the other. And you can see in the video as the diesel tractors go by, they got the beer in the air and just rooting the stuff by, just loving it. There's smoke coming off the pan of the sled, and so it's definitely a crowd pleaser. It's a lot of fun to pull asphalt. I don't want to say I prefer asphalt, but I really do almost prefer asphalt, for certain things.
Brandon, on a rain event or on a rain day, you're able to get on the cement or the asphalt pretty quickly. Dirt would be mud, but are you able to get on the asphalt pretty quickly?
Yep, for sure. So I would say as long as it wasn't a hard downpour, I would say within an hour we could be on the road pretty easy. Most of the time when there's a threat for rain or anything like that, everybody brings leaf blowers and we all blow the road off. And then our sled has we use semi tires cut in half basically, and they're underneath the pan, and so that's what we use for basically to help stop the sled.
I was wondering what you meant when you talked about smoke coming off the pan.
Yeah. So there's semi tires that are cut the full length that are underneath the sled, and so we'll run those up and down the crown of the road for the most part, and that heat will help dry out the track. So that's the other advantage. You very rarely get rained out on an asphalt pull.
Them Ohio boys run hard with smoke in the pan.
What was that, Bob?
I said them Ohio boys are running hard if they're smoking the pan.
Let's flip the script. If I'm a promoter and I want to have you guys at my show, what does it cost to put on? Like, Matt, what are you spending? You have a gigantic pull. What are you spending this weekend, you think, to put on your event?
Well, our event is a little bit different because we have to rent everything. Most clubs, when you go to a town, the town or the festival is paying the club to come in. So for us at Gopher State, we charge $1,100 to put on a show, and with that $1,100 it gets you about a 3-hour show.
Okay.
There's other clubs in the area that are a little bit more, and there might be one that's a little bit less, but that's what we get for a show.
Brandon, what do you guys charge? Like, do you guys charge your class? Are you what are you again? The LPSD Ohio. What's that stand for?
Yeah. So basically, like I guess you can kind of see it in my shirt, the Ohio Diesel Garden Tractor Pulling Series. That was a series that we promoted to go to different local clubs, and we run a point series, and which you sponsored that 2 years ago, I think it was.
Yeah.
And so we, as a group, don't actually own a sled. We would go to the different locations to put on the pull. And so primarily we pull with, which I know I heard Tri-County Pullers somewhere up here, but Tri-County Garden Tractor Pullers in Ohio has been a club. This year's their 30th year, and that is the core of where we pull at. That club, to put on a pull, it all depends on the location, but let's just say it's under $1,000 for us to come in and put on a show. And depending on where it's at, it's going to be there'd be 5 different classes, anything from stock to the limited pro stock, and we run usually 2 rounds depending on whether it's a night event or an event where we can get through all the shows. So to have a garden tractor pull put on, it all depends. I mean, if you got to pay a sled to come in, you're probably $1,000, $1,500 to have a sled come in. Most of the time, garden tractor pullers, they pay an entry fee and they go for the, whatever the pot ends up being. The guys really don't carry that burden, I should say. It's usually on whoever the promoter is getting whatever sled he wants there.
Gotcha. Marty, with the clubs that you run with, what are you kind of seeing charging, putting on a show?
Yeah, I really can't speak to that, Jason. I'm not really in the promotion side of things, but I can't imagine it's not much different than what Brandon's saying, plus or minus. I run with the Southern Indiana group, and I think it's pretty reasonable to be honest, right? I mean, we're not paying for we're not making a lot of money if you win, right? It's all about having the fun, and so yeah, I can't say for sure though.
Gotcha. Bob,
our group, we have a series. It's a 6-pull series, could be 7 this year. That each person pays $125 to start of the year. 25 of that goes for a shirt and a hat with a logo, the club logo on it. That $100, let's make it easy. Let's say 10 tractors in the class. That $100, now we're looking at $1,000, stays in a pot. That entitles you to free entry in those 6 or 7 pulls, and they pay back at each pull. I believe it starts at 90, and they pay 5 or 6 places back.
Okay.
At the end of the year, the pulls are totaled up. The distances are totaled up through the year, and the highest distance gets 40%. Next is 30, 20, and 10. So that money all goes back to the puller. It's a nice deal.
I like it. Steve, I know you don't have much garden tractor pulling in Texas, but what clubs? I mean, is there 2 Lone Star, the one up by you by Dallas, or
it's just us? We pretty much charge. I think it's $500 to get our sled to show up, and then we charge so much per mile because, I mean, in Texas, a local pull's several hours away.
Yeah.
Nordheim is what? 5 hours south of us, 6 hours south of us.
Yeah, the first time I went to Mettings, I got to Texas and I thought we were almost there. Nope, we were not almost there. Nope.
I can get to Ohio quicker than I can get to El Paso.
Yeah.
And I've never left Texas. Now, that being said, I know when we have pulled with the Outlaw guys before, and then one of the Texas groups, the big pullers, and we don't expect hardly anything. I mean, we honestly don't expect anything. And they were flabbergasted that we would pull, for $1,000 purse. And $1,000 purse to split, a few ways is crazy for us. So, as a promoter, I think if you want to get the diesel class, about 10 tractors to show up at a big pull to do a little demonstration or something in between, if you threw – I mean, you have to get the sled, but if you threw $500 to $700 at 10 guys, they're going to come running, I'm pretty sure.
Well, that's kind of what the goal is.
If they're close.
No, I agree. And that's something that, I've talked to Brandon about this in the past, is to give the, the limited pro stock diesels and the pro stock diesel garden tractors more, a bigger chance, and hopefully a promoter sees this. Be a cool way to start out a show. You know what I mean? It really, really would. So
we do ours now. Now this is not just diesel. This is our club. But when we pull with the big guys, there's usually 2 tracks, and we pull one after the other. And it's really good because it gives the big guys a chance to work the track, and they're not pushed so hard because we're putting on a little bit of a show that's kind of entertaining for the kids and whatnot. So, it really helps a show go by having us pull every other hook. Gives them time to maintain the track and whatnot. So, or if you got a breakdown, another, for instance, this is getting off track, but we've got a really good PA system. They lost the PA system up at Whitewright one year, and they took ours over, and it was better sounding than theirs. Our music, our PA, everything. So it really works good together. I mean, depending on what the club has for equipment, or if they've got equipment, it can be a good thing. Definitely is a good crowd pleaser. As far as crowd pleasing goes, I know at Columbus and Springfield, they used to put us at the end of the night because of the smoke. And there's, how many tractors used to go there, Bob?
Hundreds.
There's 500-600 tractors, hooks in a day or whatever. And it was pretty much just the guys that were pulling there. But at the end of the night, when the diesel starts showing up, we would fill the stands on the indoor arena. I mean, filled the stands. And I go back and I look at some of our pictures and video, and everybody's standing up and got their phones up in the air videoing. I mean, the smokers just, I don't know. They may not be the best performing, but they look good.
No, Steve, that's what made me we posted 4 videos back to back from Keystone on TikTok, and they literally 4 videos in a row went viral. It was insane.
Yeah.
And it was awesome.
Jason, last year when we pulled with the Listy group and the Hammer Time group, we were pulling with big tractors and trucks.
Okay.
And the big sled got to take a break while we came out, which worked just perfectly, for everybody involved. And we were well received. Man, I think we could have sold the tractor 3 or 4 times last year. They're just something different, and the people really like them.
Yep, I agree. Brandon, is Ohio Diesel Point Series happening this year?
We're still up in the air about that. So we're trying to figure out a schedule maybe where we can get around Ohio and promote it. Haven't decided yet. I know Marty has talked to me about doing maybe some sponsorship, and I've had a couple others that's reached out to me about sponsorship for the point series for just this. Haven't decided yet. We've got a group chat going. I guess I should get back into that and talk it out with guys and see what they want to do. I thought about doing a weekend. I thought about doing you run all year for say like a belt buckle or a ring or something cool, different that's commemorative kind of that you'd hold on for a long time instead of just some money. So it's still up in the air. Not 100% sure yet, but it might happen. We'll see how many guys want to come around this year.
No, that's awesome.
So Brandon, here's a shameless plug, right? So Tri-County up in Ohio is going to be running at the Wood County Fairgrounds, which is Bowling Green, Ohio, right?
What? Say it again, Marty. Bowling Green, Ohio?
Yeah, so it's the Wood County Fair, which is in Bowling Green. It's is it like 2 weeks before the big pull, Brandon, that Tri-County is going to be running during the fair?
I think it's 2 weeks. So it's on Sunday, August 6th. It's a 10 o'clock pull.
Yeah, but what a huge opportunity to come and pull on Bowling Green. It's on the big tracks, right? Now it's not the same weekend, obviously, but we're going to make the 5-hour trip up from Southern Indiana up there to go pull.
So it's a local pull.
Yeah. Well, yeah. For you, yeah, it's a local pull. Yeah, exactly.
So Tri-County in this area has got. If anybody comes to Ohio, Tri-County, I mean, this is my opinion because I've been involved with them for so long. Tri-County has such a great group of guys that has managed this club this is their 30th year. So from the inception to what it is now, it's a good group of guys, and it's very competitive. You won't see an ugly tractor except for mine. You won't see an ugly tractor at the pulls. They're all beautiful sheet metal. just top of the line, equipment. And so this year they have, I think 11 poles. And so, and they're all in Ohio, and almost all these poles are going to have a limited pro stock tractor there. So if you look up Tri-County Garden Tractor Pullers on Facebook, you'll find the schedule there, a list of rules. The Wood County Fair, we got a lot of people interested in coming there, wanting different things, and we're going to run our standard classes. We want everyone to come. Everyone's going to get a hook one way or another. You just have to follow our safety rules at the core. But all over northern Ohio, I mean, we're going to be, for the Ohio guys, if you know where Greenwich is, Willard, Castalia, Shiloh, Tiffin, Cary, Republic, Bowling Green, Attica, which the Attica Fair is really, really kind of a cool pull for us. We pull right next to the OSTPA. So, there's a good gap between us, but we're down on the good dirt. We pull right next to them. So, they go and, we run a couple, they run a couple. So it's really, really neat to be able to pull with, some big tractors. We'll be at the Erie County Fair, Morrow County Fair, and then Delaware County Fair. So a pretty full schedule for Tri-County this year. But there's a place in Ohio at some point in time. They're all Friday, Saturday, Sunday pulls. One day events. You get 2 hooks. So it's an awesome place to come pull if you guys, are looking. I don't have any way to link it on here, but I can share it maybe to the Beer Money page one of these nights, Jason, if you want. But it's a great place to come watch garden tractor pulling and to watch diesel garden tractor pulling and to be more specific. So
that's why you're an editor on the page. Do it.
Yep.
I'll start to wind this down because we're an hour 40 minutes into this. Thank you so much this has been so cool. 3 weeks ago we had Dave Schreier on, who started the NTPA. Last week we had Ken Venny on, and this night we're talking to you guys. This is awesome. I love the amount of polling knowledge we're bringing, from the local level up to the highest level of polling on Monday night. So thank you for everybody for watching, and Charles and Ryan and Cody for always being. Cody's, you guys, I don't know if you realize this, but Cody does the show from Louisville, from Freedom Hall every Monday night. He flies in on his private jet, and then Kesslers come. And then they park the tractor there for Cody to do that. So that's pretty cool. I enjoy that.
Actually, there's a giant floor jack behind Cody's head that holds the tractor up like that.
Harbor Freight jack stand. It's cheaper than a floor jack.
What I want to know, have we answered all your questions tonight? If we haven't, please direct message us on Beer Money Pulling Team Facebook. Mackenzie and Chandler are checking, they check it daily. We'll get you in touch with Brandon or one of these guys on the screen. So I'm going to go down the screen with every single one of you. Roos asks a question every single week, and we're going to ask this to all of you. Ryan, what's your question?
If you could take, if you could take any pulling tractor, past or present, little or big, what would you take pulling for a weekend? Where would you take it and why?
Brandon, you're first.
Oh boy. I don't know.
Well, come on, Brandon. It's not as if you haven't heard me ask this question 3 dozen times.
I know. So for me, the childhood tractor that I always look back and think is the awesomest one is this Sneaky Snake Superstock. I don't know if you guys remember that tractor.
Yes.
Yeah. Very well.
I love that tractor. I've always loved that tractor. Where would I take it? Bowling Green, of course. Where else would you go with it? So
as you do.
Yeah. So that's my tractor. That from a little kid, I've always loved that tractor. That's all I've thought about. When I was a little kid, the Sneaky Snake, and so I think that's my good.
How come you haven't built a mini snake?
I don't know. I guess it would be a matter of a wrap, really. I've got a tractor that's kind of a similar, body style to that. I guess I could. My thought process was I was going to do a mini Remedy. So I just got to get the Beer Money on board for the sponsorship.
We need to have a private conversation about that, Brandon. So
yeah, we'll play.
And Brandon, The only reason I'm picking on you is because I met you at Shipshewana a couple of years ago. You're the only one of these guys I've ever met in person, so you get it
Right.
tonight.
Yeah. I got the pop-up interview.
What's that, Brandon?
I said I got the pop-up interview. I was merely walking by Jason. He grabs me by the shoulder in front of all these people and says, "Hey, the smoke tube is broken too. We need an interview."
Charles knows.
It was good.
Charles said, "Go interview somebody," so I did. All good. That's all I did. Brandon, how do people find you on the social media?
So you can reach out to me just directly to Brandon Perry. I've got the Ohio Diesel Garden Tractor Pulling page, which I can share on the Beer Money page. Those two ways would be the easiest way to get a hold of me. If anyone needs help or advice getting through a build, or if you're in Ohio especially, I'd love to see more guys in Ohio and help them out in any way I can. Outside of the state, I've helped several guys. I mean, I've had guys come to Ohio polls and help them set up their water injection. For one guy, I'm willing to help anyone try to get in the class and help them along. So I'll post a link to our page on the Beer Money page tomorrow with a picture or maybe a video or something, and then you guys will be able to find us. So
you could do that like once a week and nobody would care, Brandon. I think we've had these talks before.
I know. I get sidetracked. I get going, and then a lot of times I go right to the Beer Money page. I miss my page. I go right to the Beer Money page and I post a 10 million view semi-truck video. I should have done it on my page and then linked it so I could have got some likes. But
Adam Wilson would have posted on YouTube and got 300 million views. So don't feel bad, Brandon. Don't feel bad. Don't feel bad at all. Brandon, don't leave yet, but thank you for everything. You're a good dude, and you're great for the pulling. And you are from Monroeville, Ohio. So thank you very much. Yep. Marty from Columbus, Indiana, correct?
Yeah.
Marty, if you could drive anything, past, present, truck, tractor, you don't have to fix it if you break it. What are you driving and where are you taking it?
Yeah, so I grew up in northern Ohio, so I'm a OSTPA fan. It's got to be lethal injection diesel super.
Yes,
that was. I think it started out as a Ford TW20.
Yep.
And then it rated 8970 sheet metal. Just love that tractor. The Hayfords. That would be it. And I would. It's got to be Bowling Green. Again, I grew up 2 hours from Bowling Green. That's it. In my world. And I'm a blue guy, obviously. So
yes.
I'm super biased, but got to represent a little bit there. But that would be it.
I'm going to find a selfish plug. Marty, do I ever have an article for you to read?
I'll read it. Send it to me.
It was I wrote an article about the history of the Genesis tractors not too long ago.
So I used to work for New Holland out of college, right when they were transitioning from Ford to New Holland.
Really?
That Genesis series is just probably the best tractor series ever made.
Do me a favor. Send me a request. We should talk about this. I want to know who you knew, and I'd love to chat about that.
Marty, when you do, dedicate the next 8 hours of your life, okay, to that conversation.
Shut up, Jason.
Okay.
Yeah,
I got the button.
I've got the toy tractors from when they went from the Ford name to the New Holland. I was working for them at that time.
Marty.
Anyway, I'll shut up now. I'm biased.
No, Marty. It's now 16 hours of your life will be gone.
Yeah. Okay.
Gone.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough. I'm happy to talk about it.
No, it's all. Marty, thank you for lining up all these guys tonight. It was very. We don't know everybody. I don't know everybody. I know Kevin and Brandon, but I know now. You're my friend now. How do people find you on Facebook or social media? What clubs should they follow? You said it was Southern Indiana Garden. What'd you call it?
Southern Indiana Garden Tractor Pullers. My Marty Abfall is Facebook. I just started the 18 pulling. We got 18 Blue, which is the tractor my dad runs. The pictures you've been showing, and I'm building the 18 Orange, which is going to be the stock Kubota. Hopefully get it out, this summer. It's in process in the garage right now.
Awesome. So, Marty, thank you so much, bud. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Matt Larson. Anything. You could drive anything, take it anywhere, and you don't have to pay for it.
Ken Vinny's Mini Rod and Toma.
Yep. That would be awesome. That would be awesome. Yep. And good luck to you this weekend, April 7th through the 8th, this Friday, Saturday, New Richmond, Wisconsin. Matt is your promoter of the Midwest Super Pole, MidwestSuperPole.com. Do you have any title sponsors, Matt, you want to plug quick?
Oh, we've got a few. Larson Metal Works, that's my company. Beckius Repair, M&P Utilities, Zach Kerber Machine. Those are Wrath Racing, Total Excavating. Those are kind of our big ones.
Awesome. Well, thank you for being a promoter. We know how much work it is. So thank you.
Thanks for having me on.
Hell yeah. Anytime. Kevin Moore, the keys to anything. Take it anywhere and you don't have to pay for it if you break it.
Old school. The Red Baron. Johnny Klug's tractor.
Say that one more time for me.
The Red Baron.
I love it. I watched
Hard to argue with that.
Yep. I wished I knew where that tractor was. If it's still together.
It had its own. He was one of the first guys to run hyper hard, in Iowa, where I grew up. Like when he would run the big circuit, and those hyper rear ends had a sound. And Charles knows what I'm talking about. You can tell a hyper rear end as soon as they let off the clutch.
Yep.
Remember George Hendrickson, the announcer, would say, "That's that Hypermax rear end, coming down the track." So super cool.
He was a legend, that's for sure.
So you're big on social media, Kevin. I know you got a TikTok, an Instagram, a YouTube. Oh, it's funny even saying that. Dude, we don't have a Little Red Hooker page yet, do we? We just got Kevin Moore.
Nope. We've got a Little Red Hooker page.
Okay.
Yep. And we're going to. I think I'm going to jump onto the YouTube deal here, get a motor back, and we're going to start doing a bunch of that as we put the tractor back together. That's
super smart.
Yep. I think after being down there in Florida with Wilson, he does some cool stuff, and I'm thinking that's kind of where we need to go.
Yeah, Bruce does a good job with all the builds and stuff like that, and that's really people would eat that up. Kevin.
Yep. So
eat it up. Well, thanks for coming on tonight, Kevin, and thank you for. I mean, honestly, you spearheaded this compact diesel thing. I know you're pretty humble, but I don't care. You and Corey, a lot of time and miles and a lot of beer, a lot of whiskey.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Hopefully a lot more.
Yeah, hopefully a lot more for sure. Steve, our Texas representative. Everything's bigger in Texas except garden tractor pulling.
Yes.
How much do you love John Deere? Because we're really having a hard time deciphering really if you're a fan or not.
Well, just I don't know. Just maybe I don't know.
He bought that one special for the show. He didn't even take the tags off.
Yeah. So I'm actually originally from Illinois.
Oh, really? I didn't know
that. Galesburg is where I'm from.
You got to be kidding me.
And my
parents. Hold on. How far is that from Oquawka, Kevin?
30 miles.
I used to race boats in Oquawka.
Really?
Yes.
You're a river rat? You're a river rat, Steve?
Yes. Yeah. I got 40 stitches across my head from an outboard motor.
Can you show us? Can you take your head off?
That explains a lot.
I can't. There's one right there, all the way across. Let's see here. You can't see it. There's some right there.
Yeah, I see that.
And I got some on I can't do it with my camera. Anyway, I got tore up pretty good racing boats. But anyway, Henry, Illinois, Knoxville, Illinois, Springfield, Illinois. I used to go to all those with my dad when I was little in the late 70s. And this is kind of a funny one. This will be my funny one. Did you ever remember Mother Jugs and Speed?
Yes.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I would be in Henry, Illinois with Mother Jugs because when I was 10 years old and I'd see her strutting out on the track, it was like, oh my gosh. But no, really, Clint Medding's tractor for sure. I got to take Texas. What track would I go to? I have no idea. Probably I like watching indoor, but it'd have to be an outdoor track. Probably Bowling Green.
Yeah, if you're going to wind a big pro open, I want you to take it outside
Yeah.
so you can enjoy it.
But if you're going to bring Clint Medding's pro stock and wind it up, it's got to be Rock Valley or Wisner, doesn't it?
Yeah, a big outlaw hook. Yeah.
Tell you what, Steve, bring your fire suit and your helmet and just come up to either one of those hooks, and we'll see what we can do.
Hey, I've driven some big alcohol tractors.
There we go.
I've driven a case with my green suit on.
Whose was that, Steve?
He's up here in. You put me on the spot. Give me a second.
It's a live show, Steve. It's a live show, and it's hard not to put you on the spot.
I know. He's probably watching. My mind just went blank. So he runs a poll up here once a year, sometimes twice a year, up near Gainesville, and he brings the Texas group up there.
The TTTPA?
Yes, yeah, they come up and pull. Usually the Outlaw doesn't go there, but the TTTPA, they pull up there. Doug, I can't think of his last name now.
It's not Voth because he's got a mod.
No, but he's got a cockshut that runs on alcohol up there that I've hooked with.
Okay.
But no, it'd be Medding's tractor for sure.
Yep.
So I have to ask before you go, would you ever do the dinghy boat races?
Do what? Say that again.
The dinghy boat races? You ever seen that?
No, I haven't.
Google it.
Dinghy boat races. All right.
Dinghy boat races. Yes. If you race boats, dinghy boat races, that'd be right up your alley. I guarantee it.
All right.
Well, Steve, thanks for coming on the show tonight. Thanks for going out and buying all that John Deere stuff so you could look cool on the show. So.
Hey, that's just stuff my wife throws away on a daily basis.
Hey, Steve, before you go, what's in all those shadow boxes behind you?
Where at?
On the wall.
Windows?
Directly behind you.
Those
Turn
are
around.
windows.
Like right.
The other
there?
side. Yep.
Yeah, there, and the one
Right.
behind your melon, and then that one.
Those are windows in my barn. But
Do those
there's
have
a.
pictures?
Are you talking about that one right there?
Well, yeah.
He sees a toy tractor.
Right there?
Hey, yeah, that.
Yeah.
I mean, that looks like a 7520, but I
Oh,
don't
yeah.
know for a fact.
Oh yeah.
All right, cool.
Yep, I had
There
it.
we go.
I've had that since I was probably 6 years old, maybe.
Very
Yeah,
nice.
I got some of those laying around.
Steve, how do people find you on the social media?
Mean Green Pulling on Facebook's probably the best way. We've been out of it since COVID, I would say. Kind of shut things down, and I've got 3 boys that are very active showing steers and hogs and FFA, and we're very competitive down here. And I got my oldest one graduated. He's in college now, and so I'm starting to ramp things back up, and we're looking at building a limited pro and kind of moving some things around. You'll see in the next month some things going on.
You guys, fun fact, you guys slick shear down there, don't you?
Yes, we only have one hair show, and that's Fort Worth.
Yep. I raise show cattle, so I'm familiar with that side.
It's a big one. I got a good one for next year. We're going to be in that.
Nice. That's why you don't have any money for your tractors. It's
You know what? I was saying I could buy a big and probably fund a big tractor once we quit showing calves.
Yep. Anybody who knows, they've done it. They know what you're talking about. So, but no, you're a hell of a dad, Steve. Your kids seem to like you.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming on the show tonight, buddy.
I appreciate it.
Bob Kauffman, Ruffsdale, Pennsylvania. If you could drive anything, anywhere, and not worry about if you break it, you don't have to pay for it. What are we doing?
Can I change years also? Can I go back in time a little bit?
Of course.
100%.
Okay, shotgun red, bowling green, with the turbo on fire at the end of the track.
Carl?
Perfect. Might be the most descriptive answer we've ever gotten. The most date specific ever by far.
Bob, do you do much on social media?
Just my own name, but I'm with the Listy Grove group and the Mountain Ridge GT Pullers is
Okay.
also within that group.
Awesome. Well, I want to thank you guys for coming on tonight, sharing your knowledge. We should do this again. Anytime you guys have something coming up you want to promote, just reach out to us. Marty, you got my email, and we'll just stay in touch, okay?
Hey, Jason.
Yes, sir.
We've probably all forgot, but on Facebook, we got Diesel Garden Tractor Pulling is a page.
Okay.
And do we have a public limited pro page, Bob?
Yes, public limited, and that's a great place to ask questions.
Limited pro stock diesel.
Yeah.
Steve, send me those links on Messenger.
I'll do it.
And I'll post those up, okay?
There's several of them.
Cool. Well, I'm going to let you guys go, and we're going to wrap up the show with our panel. And you guys, thank you for coming on. Larson, good luck this weekend, and we'll talk to you guys soon.
Thanks for the offer.
Thanks, everyone.
See you, Jason.
Thank you.
See you guys. Thanks
See
for
ya.
coming on. Nice hoodie, Charles.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah.
Nice hat too.
I'm real partial to the hat.
All right.
Yeah, I get it.
So whose meme was better, Roos's or mine? Do you guys know what I'm talking about? We're gonna have. I need votes because I'm pretty proud of mine.
And I saw Ryan's.
Okay, here's
I
mine.
know I saw yours.
I did not see both.
That hurts a little bit, but that's okay. Adam Wilson opened up the show with "Hello, gentlemen," and Jason. So whatever. I don't have a lot of feelings.
He chose violence tonight.
Oh, shoot. That was a great show, guys. That was a great show. It was so cool to learn so much about that. So I saw Roos's. I saw Roos's today, and I was very proud of that. Very, very proud of that, Roos. And I thought, well, heck. So this is one I came up with because he kind of went. What did yours say? Yours is after.
As far back as I can remember, I've always wanted to be a gangster, which is the opening line to Goodfellas.
Yep.
So say that in Ray Liotta's voice. Ray Liotta.
So I came up with
Ray Liotta. You
Coolio.
got to hear the music start playing immediately in the background too.
Yeah, as he shuts the trunk.
As he shuts it. So I came up with Coolio, Gangster's Paradise, and I put Freedom Hall as the Grandview Gangster Paradise.
Yeah, let's see you Photoshop some cornrows on Masterson's melon.
You know what? If you give me time, I'll figure it out one way or the other.
Yeah, I'll bet you will.
No, what a weekend! The 10 grand to win. I don't know if you guys saw the video of Doug got of Jeff Hurt pacing with one tractor left to go, and Hurt's just rubbing his hair and walking in between tractors and stuff. And I mean, what's a normal purse for minis, guys? $2 grand, $2,200, or $2 grand to win? Do you know, Charles?
No, because my rule book is upstairs.
Okay. That would be my guess for a Grand National or a Champions Tour, hook, I think. But yeah, I just think that was so awesome to see that, to see Mike Connie Cody's in there. I mean, is anybody still around, Cody? Can you find out what they normally get paid?
Right.
But no, what a weekend just to see those guys get after it for the 10 grand. For that. Crowd-wise, I think it was similar to last year. I talked to the marketing people. So Monster Jam stuck it in their ass, guys. Something about Monster Jam was the weekend before, okay, in Freedom Hall. So they could do any promotion, nothing on Ticketmaster officially, any promotion until Monster Jam was over. So that's so hard, to 1 week that, right before, because you could send people through the NTPA site. But I mean, I still think it looked like it was what I was told by Mike Ott was the big show guys holds 17,000, right? They pull off the bottom seats. They can hold 13,000 if it's sold out. And I'm thinking they're in that probably 8,000-9,000 ticket range is what I'm hearing. I don't know. I watched the live stream. I don't know if you guys did or not, or you could see the crowd. There were some sparse seats up top, but the bottom bowl looked pretty full. So Travis Schlaubaugh says 1,200. It's only $1,200 to win. Are you serious? No, it can't. It's got to be more than that.
That's a travesty.
It's $1,000 to win the Outlaw 4-1 class. That's why I'm saying it's got to be more than that. Seriously, guys. Seriously, Travis. Don't be messing with me. So. Okay. It's not really anymore. Wow. So 10 grand's a big jump, guys. 10 grand's a big jump. So it was just fun. It was fun to see it this weekend. So Jeff Hurt, Mr. Masterson, The young Rook. I don't know is it Rook? What's his first name?
Spencer.
Spencer. And then Super Stock Open Terry Blackburn. So that was pretty cool to see that Super Stock class. None of these M80 went the farthest, and he didn't have a good hook. He even admitted that on Facebook. He got off to the right and then came back with the brakes. Kent Payne, I was really hoping. Colin didn't put it on the track, but didn't get very far. And then Kent Payne didn't run like he normally does. It just they weren't lighting and getting on top the Chargers like they normally do. So
Kent Payne was saving it for Doug Meisinger.
Yeah. I know Travis is going to kick Doug's ass. That's what he told me. So, but I was watching.
I want to know what that conversation was between Hulls and Jeff Hurt. I really want to know what he was so damn animated about.
I think it's just how they caught him.
Animated. I mean, he could have been talking about going to dinner with his wife.
Yeah,
but
I saw that picture and this morning, and I grabbed it and posted it right away. I just think it's somebody caught him at the right time at the right spot. So it's just funny.
As photographers, Cody and Charles and I will take timing and luck over anything else 8 days a week.
Yep. So Travis says it might be more for Louisville, but around 1,200 for an outdoor. Yeah. Wow. I just always thought it was a little bit more. And Ulmer agrees. So there's a couple super stock legends. They would know what they're talking about.
Tragedy.
Adam Wilson doesn't know what he's talking about. But he said super stock was rough. Yeah, it was. It was a tough class. Charles, what do you got coming up in your world, buddy?
Well, it's mid-April, so my main focus this next weekend between Easter is taxes.
Attaboy.
Yeah, I got less than 3 weeks till my season starts, but it's drag racing stuff to kick it off.
Cool. Cody, you got anything coming up, bud?
TPC is my next event.
May 19th and 20th.
Yes, sir.
Nashville, Illinois. Rusi?
TPC, and in the meantime, raging against the machine about my new assessed property value. Dallas County. Yeah, thanks very much. Pardon my French.
Whatever.
I hope all the rest of you guys can feel my pain, and I know that you can.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, that's been the case around here the last couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. I love it. New Richmond, Wisconsin. Thank you, Matt Larson, for coming on. They have a gigantic garden tractor mini rod pull this weekend up there. And then I think we have a couple weeks off, but every weekend in May we're doing something. We start our Beer Money Pulling.tv extravaganza in Columbus, Texas at Whitey's Pull. That's May 5th and 6th. And then we're live streaming the Hanson Sullivan Memorial Pull the next weekend on beermoneypulling.tv. And then obviously the Pullers Championship that next weekend. Then it's Memorial Day. I think that's Ottawa again. I know Doug's talked about that. And then the direct races, and there's a lot of stuff going on. And then we start running Outlaw Pulling TV then Monette, Missouri, June 2nd and 3rd. And then it's just bang. The rest of the summer, it's finito. So it's going to be busy. So.
Hey, got to correct you.
Yes, sir.
Sorry, I got to be that guy.
That's fine.
Hansel, not
what
Hansen.
Oh, I said Hansen?
Yeah,
I meant to say Hansel. I really did. So.
Okay. Just making sure. I just, I didn't want you don't want the Sullivans mad at you.
No.
They might chase you with a tire iron for all we know.
I've seen Brant works out. He's got.
I would watch that video.
You'd probably shoot the video. Josh Driscoll says Navarre, Ohio is April 14th and 15th. That's NQS pull. So shout out to all the garden tractor pullers, quarter scale pullers. You guys have as much passion as us big dummies do. And I know a lot of people are watching tonight, and it was very, very fun to have it. The knowledge. Did you guys listen to the knowledge? It was awesome.
Yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to hear from them, because it's not a corner of the world I get a lot of insight into, and they really painted a picture of what they're all about and how they do it.
Yeah, and and I mean, if you wanted to get into pulling, that's where, that'd be a great place to start, because there's many pro stock pullers that we talked to today that started on an antique, guys. And one of them just won has won Louisville twice this year, so it's going to be okay. And Danny Schmucker is another one.
Yeah.
We've had him on the show, so. The next couple weeks is going to be kind of dedicated. I'm going to get back to those 15-minute per motor ones. ECI has reached out. PI Motorsports has reached out. Somebody else, South Central Wisconsin, has reached out. If you want to come on our show 10, 15 minutes and talk about your association, send me an email at Jason@Beer Money Pulling Team. Send a Facebook message to one of these three knuckleheads on the screen, and they'll reach out to me so we get you on the screen. And we want to keep talking, just keep promoting pulling, keep sharing the love. That's what it's all about. So it was super fun to have those guys on tonight. Thank you, Marty. Marty reached out. I kind of put that post out after Keystone that, wow, these diesel garden tractors are pretty popular. I want to learn more about them. Marty reached out with an email, and then we kind of lined everybody up. Ken Benny interview was amazing last week. It was so neat to see Rona backing him up on the track Saturday night. I know a lot of people were taking pictures of that. We need to bring back Mother Jugs. I'm so glad that Steve said that. That's such a cool video. The backup girls. So that's all I got, guys. That's all I got. What about you? Let's go to bed. Let's go to bed.
I got one thing. I'm looking for story ideas for Interesting Iron. For those of you who don't know, I write a column for Successful Farming called Interesting Iron. I also write it for Tractor Zoom. Looking for stories about interesting tractors either in your collections, or that you farm with, or all that kind of stuff. If you got one, I need to hear about it. Love to talk to you about it. Tell a story about the tractor that Grandpa bought that you had to look for, search for 15, 20 years for to find, and after it sold at an auction or whatever. Reach out to me. You guys know how to get a hold of me.
And he uses spell check. He uses spell check too.
Once in a while.
Oh, you write well. I don't like to give you a lot of compliments publicly, but you do a good job. So.
Yeah, Kurt Alman was the subject of the last article, and it was fun. Also, for those of you who are old tractor nerds, just launched video on Tractor Zoom about a tractor that you start with a shotgun shell and a hammer.
What?
I love field marshals. They're
cool.
Yeah,
I saw that video.
Those things are cool.
That's good ingenuity there. So,
yeah, the British did well with that one.
Yep, guys, I'm gonna let you guys go. Thanks for watching tonight. I got about 6 or 7 videos that the guys sent me. I'm just gonna play to end the show for those of you who want to watch those. If you have a diesel garden tractor video, send them over to us on Beer Money Pulling Team. We'll get them posted for you. Happy Easter, everybody. We all need a little Jesus, and life is good. Love you all. Cody, so cool that you do the show from Freedom Hall every Monday night.
I really have to thank Adam and the group over at Kessler's, because that's like just the epitome of a background.
It is. It's money.
Yeah, you definitely owe Kessler a drink or 3 for just posing the tractor like that for like 3 hours at a clip. That's impressive.
I named the other tractor. It's like we're even.
Say it one more time.
I named the other tractor. It's we're even.
Oh, you did know.
That's right.
That's confirmed.
The
nuclear meltdown or reaction or whatever it's called.
The reactor, yeah.
And it's been named that now officially?
I would hope so.
Oh, so we don't have confirmation.
Part 2.
Hey, nothing wrong with wishful thinking. See you guys.
Hey guys, yeah. I got some videos to play for everybody, so just hang tight here. So thank you to the group that came on. Good luck to Matt Larson this weekend. Our Beer Money Pulling Team trailer is going to be up there. Spend some money with us. That'd be great. And sure, check us out on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. We appreciate your support. So here's some videos. Thanks for watching. Talk to you soon.
Justin's brother, Brandon Berry, driving the 4 drop.